I think we're live. We're live. I'm getting an error message, but we're totally live. Welcome
Yeah,
back, everybody. We're two Knicks chicks. I'm Lady and the Chef, joined by my co-host this evening.
Divalox 21, what's up?
What's going on, Divalux? Divalux, you always have a delay, as if it reminds me of when newscasters they're getting the feedback from the newscast station, and they're
Hmm.
trying to wait to get the feedback. Not a delay because you're having audio. You have a delay after I say, joined by my co host, and it's like 5 seconds of silence, like when the newscasters outside and they're like, right, Jim. And then they're trying to, you do that every time. But I don't know why my thing is telling me that I'm not live, but I see that we are live. So I'm
We
going to
are
look
live.
at fixing that. Actually, we're not live on X. Something happened. So that's why I got that error message. So I'll figure out why that happened. Um, but nonetheless, yesterday was a play-in tournament between Miami and Philadelphia 76ers. Miami had control of that game, the first half of that game. And, I didn't want to necessarily get too hot or too cold or try to have any early predictions as far as if I thought Miami was going to take the game because honestly, truly, watching that game, I didn't want to give up on Philly because I was like, I don't know why. And I'm not comparing them to our Knicks, but I said you can't count Philly out because it wasn't like Miami was up by 25, 30 points. And it was kind of like, okay, well, they have a big enough lead. I just thought Miami was more so they out hustled Philly in the first half. They seemed to have been more focused. They seemed to wanted it more. And Embiid struggled. He was struggling mightily, but even with him struggling, he still had a pretty good game. And that he had 23 points, 15 rebounds. Um, Maxi had 19 points, Batum had 20, and he actually, to me, helped carried them throughout, helped them win that game. If it wasn't for his 3 pointers, Philly wouldn't have won that game because everyone was just, playing really, really sloppy, to say nonetheless. But I don't know. I thought Philly's style of game against Miami was very slow. The offense was very stagnant. Nothing was happening. Um, Considering Miami was playing them in a zone, but nonetheless, I think Embiid started to find his footing. He still looked very slow, gimpy. He was throwing the ball away in the first half. Wasn't getting up the other end of the floor. But even with Philly winning that game, me personally, I don't look at it like, yes, we got Philly over Miami. I would have taken either or because, like I said, I think the Knicks should be up for this challenge, right? I think they need to be up for whoever, whether we was going against Boston, Milwaukee, Indiana, Miami. It doesn't matter. I think the Knicks need to be prepared to take on the challenge. And honestly, that's what New York is about. New York is tough. We're gritty. We're hardcore. And I think the Knicks players just have to put that energy on the floor. Now, I think the way Embiid didn't play doesn't mean that that's going to correlate into the series against the Knicks. And this is why I think that the Knicks fans do not need to take how Philly played against Miami in that play-in tournament. I don't think they need to take that lightly because Maxi could turn it up at any given time. Time, Oubre could turn it up. Kyle Lowry could turn it up. And B can find his footing and turn it up. Because even with him playing a horrible game, he still managed to have 23 points, 15 rebounds. So I think it's something that I feel like we have to watch out for overall with the Knicks. But let me ask you, did you expect Philly as the Knicks first round opponent, or did you think it was going to be either or you just was like, whoever wins, wins?
Yeah, I'm with you. Whoever wins, wins. Everybody want Miami because it's a revenge game. Me personally, at the end of the day, they both got to bounce that ball and put in the hoop and run their offense. They both have different styles of play, but Tibbs, you know, he he's coaching them for whoever. So it's not like, oh, well, we play Miami, because at the end of the day, they still have to play. So I was like, at this point, it really didn't matter. Um, I did at one point thought Miami, it was going to be Miami. And like you said, don't take MB's, injury lightly.
Hmm.
Um, he was slow, but he did pick it up at, and that second half, and especially down the stretch. Um, he willed his team, and he had a supporting, guys. So it wasn't just him alone, but it's
Right.
the fact that they got the win. It doesn't matter if it was by a point or two. They won. That's
Exactly.
that's what matters. So at this time and juncture, it is what it is. That's who they're going to be playing, and they have to gear and prepare for Philly. That's
Yeah.
where their area of concentration has to be, and just watching film, just preparing for matchups and coverage, and that's on to Philly. That's who it will be.
Yeah, I just think that the biggest emphasis is that the Knicks can't, and I don't think that they are. I did see an interview with OG Ananobi, which I did want to share really quickly. Just the first 2 minutes, because he was asked about um, him watching film, and then he also was asked about him covering who he's going to be covering in the series. So I do want to share that. Let me, here it is. Let me play this.
Hmm. He's a great player. So take the whole team being connected defensively and just making it difficult for him and just trying our best. He's a great player. He's gonna score. He's gonna help them. He's gonna play make. He's gonna do everything. So just doing our best as a team collectively. Are you anticipating guarding him straight up for any starts? I'm not sure. Maybe. I mean, I'm sure sometime during the series or game one or whatever game, I'll be guarding him. So just knowing his strengths and weaknesses and being prepared for that.
There, he will try to get you to get a hand in the rookie guard and he'll raise his way up. When you're actually guarding him, I know you switched on to him for a few possessions that January game. When you're guarding him, how much in the moment are you like thinking about don't put my hand in there, don't put my hand in there, versus just making it muscle
Uh, I guess thinking about it a little bit, but also just throwing him different looks. Like supposed to keep my hand there and then make sure it's out by the time he's trying to swipe up. Just mixing it up, making him not let him get comfortable with one way or like playing my hands back or just mixing up for him. You obviously used to play for Lincoln University. Do you have any sense as to what to expect when he's coaching against you? I know he's a great coach. I know they'll be very well prepared. Um, he's very creative. Um, Nothing. He's a great coach. They'll be well coached for sure.
I believe called you the best defender in the league a couple of to go. When you go up against, let's say, you ended up with Embiid, do you employ the same philosophies? Everybody guards, there's certain things that you're able to do, no matter who it is, and that gets you through.
Yeah, knowing the players like strengths and weaknesses always helps, and then also just knowing myself too, being the aggressor, not being passive, being the aggressor, making them react to me as well. So it's a mix of both.
What you learned about playing with Jalen and what he was able to.
He said exactly what we were saying OG Ananobi needs to do. Be the aggressor. OG is going to have to be aggressive. OG is going to have to help Jalen Brunson. OG is going to have to help the Knicks team along with Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo. I think a big part of that aggression also goes to both Mitch and Isaiah Hartenstein. Both of those guys are going to have to make it tough for Embiid. And like I alluded to in the last episode, I think if the Knicks are smart, while Embiid is a really good player, right? He's a superstar in his own right. I think that, and I wish I had footage. I'll get on the whole superstar thing because this was brought up earlier on Michael K show, and someone called and brought up Jalen Brunson. But I think that this Knicks team right now, they know how to play together. They know how to move the ball. But I think that they're going to have to make it harder for a player like Embiid. I think also the Knicks have to be careful for Philadelphia to decide if they decide to start shooting lights out from beyond the arc, right? Because you know how we talk about how certain guys on the Knicks could be the X factor, Bogdanovich, maybe DiVincenzo, which teams know DiVincenzo could shoot the three, but they may back off of him. But more so like a Josh Hart because teams are gonna allow him to shoot. They're gonna dare Josh Hart to shoot the ball. Batum was that for Philly yesterday. Miami was like, and Batum has been in this league for a while, so I know he can shoot. But I'm surprised that they weren't on him more, and he was just wide open and knocking them down, cash money, knocking the shots down. And I think with the Knicks, that can't happen. You can't sleep on anybody. Because even if it's not Batum, it could be Oubre, it could be Laurie, it could be, someone else on that team could just start saying, okay, well, they leaving me open, I'm a shoot. But I think contrary to that, if it's the Knicks and someone is open, Josh Hart, if that's OG, whoever, if you're open, you need to go and take that shot. Because we need to try to score however way possible we can get points on the board. But I think it's more so important that, OG, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Mitchell Robinson make it harder for Embiid. I don't want to see him be able to get the pass. And I know it's not going to happen every possessions, but if you can prevent it where he can just easily get the bounce pass or the chest pass, and now either he's going to back the player down or he's going to turn around and face forward on a player, you didn't make it hard for him to get that ball. You allowed him to get the ball, and I know it's easier said than done because you got to be careful if you try to face guard him. But I think you got to be physical with him. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. So you have to be physical with Embiid and make it hard for him to get that basket. But OG said exactly what you and I were just talking about. He has to be aggressive, more aggressive. We know what he could do defensively, but I think he has to be that aggression has to come out offensively for sure.
Agreed. And as and I from Tibbs' standpoint, I know, and Embiid, he needs to see different bodies. You know, um, don't let him get comfortable in that paint. But on
Mm-hmm.
the flip side, he can hit the threes. So that's why it's tough. And again, don't sleep on all his injury. Yeah, there's this thing if you notice he didn't have any dunks. I was watching Perk earlier, and Perk was saying how Embiid he don't have and he didn't have any dunks because he doesn't have any lift. But
Mm-hmm.
that's why he's gonna most likely live in that paint and force him out that perimeter. I mean, I would rather him, out there than getting comfortable down there because then now that's where the double team, is gonna come. And and force him to his weak side. You know, because as you saw, I mean, when you watched that game, how Butler just came up and just just got that
So,
steal. So these are
mhm.
the things that the Knicks have to hone on, and and again, hopefully this days rest. You got a chance to watch a lot of, and I know they did because Tibbs that this is what he preached. Like you said, we didn't get this far, but by not playing their style. um it's just important that don't get caught up in his illness and not being 100%, 90%. Don't get caught up in that
Mhm.
because again, there's other guys like you said, Maxi can turn it on. He start hitting those threes. Batum, he's coming off the bench, so you just got to be like strategic and just and how they guard. And it's gonna be a tall task for OG. Will he be guarding Maxi? So it's just gonna be a tall task, and this is why everybody have to pitch in. Um, you know, and don't and if the threes are not falling, don't settle for them. Don't, you like to say, you live by the three, you die by the three. So, other guys are gonna, definitely need to, pitch, and they say, oh, we don't have a number two. But we, and rightfully we don't, but there's guys that, they formed their identity. And so they know, what each man has to do. So yeah, that's why it's in favor of the Knicks. For me personally, you know, that's just my
Yeah,
take.
I think the way the Knicks the Knicks a few things. One, they have to Hartenstein, OG, and Mitch. Really everyone, but especially those guys because they're gonna be playing mainly around Embiid. I think they have to be careful not to get in foul trouble because he's gonna do that well where he's gonna make his move to the basket. We know New York is a very physical playing team. And the calls, the refs, even though the Knicks are at home, doesn't mean that the whistles are going to be in their favor. So Philly may end up getting more of the whistles and the calls. But I think that guys have to be careful because even when Maxi drives to the basket, the Knicks have to do, I mean, I think you use the right word. They have to play very strategic. But I think one of the main ways the Knicks can really beat Philly, right? And any team, especially going forth in this playoff series, this run, the Knicks are gonna one thing that helped them win Philly with the 3-1 series throughout the regular season was speed. The Knicks had very high energy. They were beating them up and down the court, right? Quick outlet passes, getting up the floor, getting quick drives to the basket. That's what's going to beat them. Because if you notice when they played against Miami, Miami was more up tempo. Philly was like slow. They were standing around. Yeah, Miami was playing a zone against them, but still, it just the movement, the speed, it wasn't there. And I think if the Knicks utilize playing a very fast, up tempo, but controlled game, the Knicks could take Philly, which we already know they can. But I'm saying to really, I'm not going to say it's a sweep. Some people already got their brooms and we're saying it's going to be a sweep. But Philly is going to give the Knicks a run for their money regardless. I have faith in my New York Knicks, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. And for it to be a cakewalk, everybody got to be 150, 200% each game of the series. But I think if the Knicks play smart and play harder and want it more, the Knicks, if they can, I would try to go up at least the first 2, 3 games if you can and take it. So now you can have that comfort level, but you can't get laxed if you do take the first 2 games. But it's very much possible. But I think it takes the Knicks. I'm telling you, if you and I'm gonna find footage from at least one of those games that we played against them. The movement quick. The ball movement was quick. The floor movement was quick. The energy was just there. And Hartenstein actually plays really well against Embiid. And Hartenstein's also not afraid. He may get dunked on more so than Mitchell Robinson, but he's not afraid to get dunked on. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that with Mitch, he has more spring and a step under him now. And maybe I hope he's not out there looking like Embiid and the stamina's not there because Embiid was limpy and gimpy, hurting, but he also looks out of shape. But guess what? They won 6 games since he's been back. So you can't count that out like we were saying a few minutes ago. But I think that um, if Hartenstein could give him some trouble down there and help out, if they are going to have OG on him and he can help out down low, Philly don't really have anybody that the Knicks, could. I mean, come on, this team is not. You really, like you said, the main guys you got to worry about is Embiid, Maxi, Oubre, um, Kyle Lowry, who didn't really do much either. And I don't even know if I'm missing anybody else that really you could say, am I missing anybody that
Well, Batum, he came off the
oh
bench,
but
gave him a nice lift off the bench.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's about
yeah.
yeah. And you know, it's funny because I had a clip from Paul Reed,
Oh,
who decided he was gonna pop off about the Knicks. So let me see. I'm trying to make this big. Oh, I moved this out the way. I like this look better. Um, so this was by CBS News, this article. Backup center Paul Reed didn't shy away when talking about the upcoming matchup with New York and said that the Sixers wanted to play the Knicks. Oh yeah? Huh. It gets interesting. He said, "We ain't ducking no smoke. But yeah, we wanted the Knicks matchup, of course," Reed said on Run It Back. "That's the easier team, I guess. But it's going to be fun. We match up pretty well. They got a great guard. We got a great guard. We also got Joel, MVP. So, like you said earlier, he's one of the most unstoppable guys in the league right now. They're going to have to send triple teams, and he's going to get everybody else involved." I love how he already knows what the
oh
Knicks need
my!
to do.
Paul spoke too soon. He cashed a check that is can't cash. But hey,
Right.
and we're the underdogs, and as usual, the Knicks are the underdogs. But this. Hey, they've been that all season, and so their identity's been formed already.
Right.
So and they have that chemistry. So this is nothing new. But hey,
Yeah. You know, I was listening to Michael K earlier, and a caller called in. Somehow they were talking about, it was a big thing. They were going on and on and on about Caitlin Clark and the pay disparity in the WNBA. And then somehow they got to talking about superstars in the NBA. So a caller called up and he said, he spoke about that. He said, "Oh, and my other comment is about the Knicks." He said, he said, "I'm not a huge Knicks fan." He said, "I do watch games, but these are the ones that always have something to say." So he said, "I don't think the Knicks are gonna make it past the first round against Philly." He said, "And I don't think that Jalen Brunson is a superstar." So Michael K said, "Why are you saying that?" He said, "Oh, because the guy," he said, "I mean," he said, "he's 6'1". And Michael K said, "Allen Iverson wasn't tall and he was a superstar in his own right." He said, "Steph Curry's not tall and he's a superstar in his own right." He said, "Just like Joel Embiid is a superstar in his own right. Giannis is a superstar in his own right." He said, "So what makes you think that Jalen Brunson," he said, "and this is the problem, it's because people don't respect the Knicks." He said, "Because if Jalen Brunson was playing on another team, maybe in the beginning of his tenure on another team, people probably would have questioned it. But then after a while, he would have been how people talk about a player like a Trey Young or Dame Dollar when he was on Portland." But it's because he's on the Knicks that you people don't like him. It's that. Are you all okay? Are you okay out there? Because some of you, I really like. I wish we could do phone calls here because I just want to know why people. And we would kind of touched on this the last episode. I think part of the reason the Knicks don't get the respect that they deserve is because people feel like the Knicks haven't won anything or really gone anywhere. And it's unfortunate that that's the mentality that people have. I don't think it's just because we don't have a LeBron James or we don't have a Steph Curry on this team. I think people look at the Knicks like, well, they haven't really gone anywhere. They're just starting to become a playoff type type of team. Tibbs didn't get coach of the year mentions or a nod in, and I think it's because the Knicks are underdogs. And I said this to you even before we got to this point of the season, because I've said this plenty of times to you. The Knicks have to become known as a team that makes like Philly's a team that makes the playoffs every year. They may not go far, but they make the playoffs every year. The Knicks have to become known as a playoff contending team, that a team that makes the playoffs every year, right? And they're starting to become that. They're doing that. They're winning. They've changed the trajectory of this organization for the Knicks themselves here in New York. And I think part of it is because many Knicks fans, some of the ones we weeded off the weak ones who said, well, I've been disappointed by the Knicks. We've all been disappointed. It's life. But true Knicks fans, we've stuck around through the ugly, the bad, the hard times, the letdowns, the disappointments, the different eras of the Knicks, right? It's part of, you have to wait sometimes. It could take decades before teams finally get to where they a championship. It's not easy to do. You think it was easy for South Carolina to go undefeated? It's not easy to do. And the playoffs damn sure ain't easy. You get there and it's a different ball game. This is not the regular season, people. So I think, like I said, no matter who we were facing in the first round, it's something that I think is good for this team. It's a good challenge for this next team. Even if we had a healthy Randall here, this is a good challenge. Whether we were playing Boston the first round or we're playing Philly like we're facing up against starting this Saturday at 6 p.m. It doesn't matter. This is the challenge that we need because this is going to make us better. And the Knicks having the hate and people having this mentality that we're not good enough, I love it. It's fuel for the fire because this team has a story to tell. And Jalen Brunson is going to continue to prove that he's one of the greats out there and that he is a superstar and that he can carry this team. He's very much capable. This team is capable. We've watched them do it countless times without having a 1B, a 1C. It's a 1A and a supporting cast. That's what this is. It's a 1A. Let's keep it real. It's a 1A team with a supporting cast behind him. And if the supporting cast continues to keep stepping up, this team they're going to go places. But I think that the Knicks are on the right path. They're becoming known as a playoff bound team every season. And now it's just taking it step by step. And right now, we all just need to focus. We know who we're facing now. It's Philadelphia. I don't care if it was, like I said, Philly, Miami, whoever. We shouldn't be scared of anyone. Do I have some concerns? Yes, I voiced those concerns. It's not me being negative, it's me being realistic. But I want to see this team go out and give it their all. And I know they can beat this Philadelphia 76ers team. They can for sure beat them. We've demolished them. And some people, Philly fans mainly, will say, well, oh, well, y'all only played us with we only had Embiid one of the games. Well, we beat you in that one game that he was there. It doesn't matter. We still beat you. A win is a win. But I think that this team, without what some people would say he's not a superstar, without a co-captain, this team will get there. And part of it, you and I were saying also, it's not just going to take the players, it's going to take Tibbs and what he does as the coach, his rotations. Are you going to go 9-man? Or are you going to go 8-man? I don't think it's smart to go 8. I think you need to extend it to 9. You may need to bring Precious or maybe Sims off the bench. We never know. I think it's also going to take good health throughout this playoffs. And I just think that it's just going to be tip ball, who's here with the energy, who's ready to go high energy, and the basketball IQ is going to need to be there for us to win throughout this series. Salute to the chat.
Yeah, the chat, yes, definitely they're on fire. I mean, yeah, we beat them 3-1, but that was a regular season. This is a clean slate. You could go as far as back as when they met back in '89, and the Knicks swept them in 3. So you all that, you gotta put that, that's behind. This is a new Knick, a new era, new Sixers. they're up for the task for the most part. You know, Brunson, he's a better play and he's patient. And
Yeah,
this is why you bet on him because he doesn't rush, he doesn't get flustered. He's able to, get the shot he wants. You know, OG does phenomenal just, cutting, Hartenstein, he's phenomenal with the pick and roll. Um, so all that that's why, the Sixers are favored, I guess because they have, their 1A and their 1B, but we have just a supporting cast just as well. And a lot's gonna, not depend on OG, but the other guys, Hartenstein, Josh, Devo. So that's you got to put all that aside, and this is like a whole new era with the Knicks. Um, and as far as when you were saying about how like JB, how they with the hate and like with the respect, um, you know and I feel the reason why he don't get picked and everything on certain teams,
mhm.
i.e. the Olympics, they
I
gave the
know
last
that's crazy, crazy.
to what's it Kawhi, you know
Yeah,
why he didn't get picked, again because it's a lack of respect for the Knicks. Um, they you saw where Nick Nurse once as well. Tibbs he won as an assistant coach, so he has a ring, so he know what it takes to get those guys there.
right.
He has experience under his belt, just like Nick Nurse. So it's just a matter of who wants it more. Run their offense. Rebound is going to be key. And these guys, and the Knicks, they're a physical team. As
Yeah,
long as they stay true to that, they will. That's them, money in the bag for them. But again, don't sleep on MB with his health. Um, but that's just something that they just have to just hone in on, just rebounding. And make it difficult for them. Take them difficult shots. Don't let them get comfortable. You know.
agreed. And I think that's what it's really going to take, making Philadelphia uncomfortable. The Knicks are going to have to come out more aggressive. Like I said, they need to come out with that speed, leave all of that sloppiness behind us. This not knowing where your man is and not passing the ball to whoever's right to your left or your right, making crisp passing, whether it's a bounce pass, whatever passage you're making. Please, if you're going to grab the rebound, just be assertive also at the same time, but don't be indecisive either. Hartenstein, Mitch, if you grab that rebound, put that ball back through that hoop with authority. You know what I mean? And I think also just I don't know, was it Sims we were saying that he needs to learn how to add that hesitation when he goes back up? I think was it Sims we were talking about? I think it was. We were saying like when he grabs the rebound, he needs to learn because Randall does that really well. Randall will like wait, he'll let the defender come down, he'll do it again, and it's like perfect timing, and he goes up strong and he'll get that layup or that dunk. And I kind of wish Mitch does it, but he do it more with his head. And I wish he would like sometimes he has to get that bounce pass first. So he's like getting his grip, that footing, and then he goes up strong with authority. But Sims, I want him to implement that because sometimes he goes straight up, and I'm like, you need to you could have got fouled while trying. And I think that if we find ourselves where we're maybe down by a little bit or however many, the Knicks are gonna have to stop the clock, get to the free throw line and knock the free throws down, right? Let me say hello to the chat. Salute to Eddie C, Wonder Woman. CM said, did you hear Bojan was hurt? Is that true? I didn't hear anything, did you? I didn't even see anything pop up because I always check the latest right before we go on. I don't know. Diva locks a look. She's always pulling up stuff. Salute to Parish Duggar. Von Allen, salute. A Negro One, salute. Salute to TJ Blue. He said, salute to both of you. Keep doing your thing. Big fan of the channel. I'm loving the content. Salute to you. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't. Those of you who are not in the chat, subscribe. Hit the like button for us, please. It gets us on the algorithm. So more people can find us. Salute Coach SAR 617, always showing love. Salute to Jay Boogie. He gonna be dropping some fire mixes. For the playoffs, y'all better stay tuned. Jay Boogie's coming through with some heat. So salute to you, Jay Boogie. Thanks for always showing love and to our channel. Corey Lee. If you guys haven't already or haven't checked them out, go check them out. They're the 718 boys with the Z at the end. They always come through with the Fire Knicks content. Check them out if you haven't. They come on, I believe, on Sundays. And I forget what other day you come on, Corey. Let me know in the chat and I'll shout you guys out. But go subscribe to their channel. They're under the Blood Orange Tears channel on YouTube. And they're under the 718 boys. Go check them out. Really good Knicks content. Dwayne said Knicks and 6. Hit the like button, guys.
Yeah, like Coach saw and Seeley said, he had a wrist injury, but I think he's expected to play. He left so we'll see. I guess we have to wait to game day.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Josh Hart had a wrist injury too, but he's still able to play through it. This is the playoffs. There's no time for your ankle. This is your neck hurting. Figure it out and get ready for the game, Bojan. You the game Saturday evening. Figure it out. I don't want to hear your wrist is hurting and this is that's hurting. Figure it out. We all gotta fight through the pain. Look at Jimmy Butler yesterday. He was fighting through the pain and still playing a game. Figure it out. Get some tight bands on your wrist. They'll tape it up for you. That's why they have professionals in the back. I don't want to hear it. Figure it out because they're going to need you on that floor to make them threes. What Batum was doing, that's what we're going to need Bojan to do. Go out there and do the same thing and knock them threes down for us Saturday. I don't even want to hear about anybody's wrist or necks. Their back is not cracking. Just figure it out. We don't even have time for that. Do the Knicks have to move past Philly?
You asking me? Of course.
Yeah.
If not, they're out.
I know that they're out, but I'm saying, is there this pressure there that the Knicks, like, they have to move past them? Not even just because it's Philly, even if we were playing, but do the Knicks have to move past them? And if they don't, what does that say about the season or this playoff run? Either or.
Well, considering they made it to the second round last year and they got a much better squad, although I bet we don't have Julius. But I mean, it would be for me a disappointment, to be honest with you, if they don't make it out of the first. Because they've gone this far without their 1B, so it would be very disappointing for me. And yeah, we got next year, but this is the time. Yeah, exactly. The time is now.
Yeah,
got
exactly.
With the young guys, and you brought an experience. You got your 3D wing. Like, what is I mean, what more can? Yeah, well, I know we're missing pieces, but yeah, it would be a disappointment.
I agree 1,000%. Honestly, I think it's non-negotiable. I think it's non-negotiable. Really quickly, let me 718 boys are on Sundays at 10 a.m. Go check them out. If you need some Knicks content on an early Sunday, you don't have nothing else to do, put it on while you're cleaning. You can listen to them. It's great content, back and forth banter, and they do a great job over there. So go show them some love, support their channel, and you could catch us on there sometimes too, and we're on there. So salute to you, Corey Lee. Look, a Negro said yes, even shorthanded, they must move past. I agree. Coach Starr said losing to these bums would be embarrassing. I agree. But I do agree that I think that the Knicks, I know some people, like you mentioned earlier, some people wanted to face off against Miami for the revenge, right? But I think that the Knicks to me need to get to the Eastern Conference Finals at least. And then I would be like, you know what? They 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 outproved themselves from where they went last year, which was getting knocked out in the second round, which they were very close. Very close. I think also one of the things that we didn't touch on also for the playoffs is that the Knicks can't afford to have anyone hide.
Well, you know what? They haven't done it this far. You know, they didn't tank like some other teams lost so they can get a certain seeding. They face each team head on. I mean, Cavaliers, case in point, they sat out their guys during that Charlotte game just to avoid. So the Knicks are not known for that.
But
Um,
I mean like players, like how last year, like quickly before he got hurt last year, we were
Okay,
looking
but
for him in the playoffs.
this is a whole new team.
We want to see
We
Diva.
gotta move on from quickly and RJ
I'm moved
Grimes.
on, but what
No,
I'm
I
saying
know
is
that.
sometimes the lights are too bright for some guys when it gets to the playoffs. It's a different energy. It's a different
Yeah,
mojo.
no,
We can't afford to have any players all of a sudden we're like, yo, where did he go? What
no,
happened to him?
but let me say, but to the next point, and even the Villanova boys, where that was their home. For they're familiar, with Philly, and and as a whole, the Knicks have a large following. you
Yeah.
know Many arenas, they're the away team, and they feel like they're home. So just even with the crowd back on you, that's fuel for fire. So I don't think anyone's gonna shy away. um you know, I think that these guys, they know what's at stake. Only my only issue is that they relying on a three. That's my only drawback, with
Mhm.
Devo. Um, I just hope that he, don't rely on it so much, and add other things, and like you said, he's go in. So that's my only hiccup or with them. But otherwise than that, I don't think nobody's gonna shy away.
Yeah, I have a stronger feeling that that's not going to happen this season compared to last year. It is something that I know we just didn't bring up. But I don't even think it's just Dante DiVincenzo. Sometimes the Knicks as a whole, as a team, like it becomes infectious and everybody all of a sudden thinks, well, let me try and I'll try to shoot a couple of threes. You're not making them. Stop shooting them. No one's making them. And I think the thing is that I think when some people hear me say that, they think and I'm saying, well, stop shooting threes altogether. No, all great coaches are going to tell you to keep shooting.
Yeah.
But does it need to be every time behind the 3 point line? No. Bring it in some. So this way you could see the ball go through the hoop. It'll build up that confidence and now start taking some more 3 pointers behind the arc. But I agree with you. I think that the Knicks, I don't want them to settle for just shooting threes. If we're making them, great. But if we're not making them, I need guys to look to try to bring the ball in, and I also want to see the Knicks utilize the cutting to the basket. We don't really do enough cutting and rolling to the basket, but I want to see guys be proactive and quick with it. Let's let's not hesitate. We all know if Hartenstein has the ball, he's ready to pass it to somebody. So it's cut. I don't want to see guys just standing behind the perimeter, and the only person I think we'll probably see doing that is Bojan, because he stands in that one corner and the defender is like, okay, it's easy for the defender on him because he's just standing right there. He's not freeing himself up. But otherwise than that, I want to see guys like actively move and trying to cut to the basket. So let's make the game easier for ourselves. Let's try to get easy baskets and let's try to get Philly in foul trouble early. Because if you capitalize on that, the game is going your way. It's in your favor. But I think also just when Jalen Brunson goes to the bench, I want to see movement. It should look fluid out there. I don't want to see it looking stagnant. I know Miles McBride is not there yet as far as being able to orchestrate the offense and being that decisiveness of like, how point guards you see them like pulling their hand up, telling guys come up or not, go back, come up. Using their. He'll get there, and I know I truly he's gonna get better. I'm not doubting that, but I just want to see Miles McBride handle if he has to bring the ball up because again, I don't think that Burks is going to be bringing that ball up. I don't really see Tibbs bringing Burks. Honestly, I don't want to see Burks in a game. I would rather see Precious Achua get those minutes than to see Burks come in. So again, we'll be okay rocking with McBride coming in. But I want to see, and even if McBride brings the ball up, hell, I'd rather see him come off of a curl and co-catch the ball because he can catch and shoot really well. I mean, and again, Josh Hart, you're capable, but I just don't want to see guys scrambling, looking around because Jalen Brunson has two defenders on him in the front court. Because they may do that, Philly. They may have whoever's defending Brunson. They don't even want him to touch, like how Caruso did when we played Chicago. They may not even want Brunson bringing up the ball. So then, okay, that leaves Josh Hart, McBride, and sometimes Dante DiVincenzo. It should just be automatic. Just bring the ball up, And there was times where they was even defending us so well in the backcourt that we had to like, how teams when you gotta like one guy catches, he gotta throw it, then so we gotta try to hurry up and get it over the half court line to avoid the violation. So I just think that like, just having that fluidity to the game is gonna be key when Brunson goes to the bench. I don't want guys to look like, well, we don't know what to do or we need him in. You could still do it without him. It's a couple of minutes. He just needs to catch his breath for a couple of minutes. He'll be back in, But I would like to see guys take advantage of that and still score and keep Philly on their heels if Brunson, once he goes to the bench to catch his breath.
Well, they're gonna definitely put a bigger body on him. That game that they played at the Garden, the one where they lost miserably. Oubre, had the task of guarding him for most of the game. And, he gave him, he tried to give him some fits, but this is what what I was saying before, just Brunson being patient and just his
Mm-hmm.
footwork and getting the shots that he wants. But of course, they're gonna double, and they may even try to triple. Blitz, and they're gonna he's gonna definitely see multiple bodies.
Yeah,
And it's just the guys that will have to cut. OG's good, in that aspect.
yeah,
So these are the plays that they're gonna have to be aware of.
agreed. Salute to Nick's Cave. Thank you for joining us. If you're new here, subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button for those of you who are also new here. And those of you who are in the chat, not in the chat. And also the replay gang. Hit the thanks for watching us on the replay gang and hit the like button. Nick's Cave said the Knicks need a down low game. The ball only moves around a 3-point line. Now, D Veloz can contest to this. I have been saying this since the start of the season. While I love me some Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, they don't have a post presence like an Embiid, like a Giannis, like a Jokic. They don't have that down low presence that's needed. And I remember someone in the chat recently was like, oh, well, it's not like the back in the 90s when players were like, like Shaq or Ewan where they would play down low. And I'm like, I understand that. But I think fives now, bigs, have a versatile game. So they can
Yeah.
play down low, they can shoot the three, they can shoot the mid range. And that to me is like a skilled five player. Like I can look at Vucevic, what he was doing on Chicago. He he shoots those shots right by the free throw line beautifully. And he can make them. He can play down low. He was catching the ball on the down on the post, going to work there, and then he could shoot the three. That's what the Knicks are also lacking because with Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein, you could get a little bit of something from each of them, right? They're like salt and pepper, literally. They're literally salt and pepper, these two, right? But I think that both of them combined, there's no post game. And or there's not even a 3-point game. There's not a 3-point offensive game between either the two. And I think sometimes that kind of hurts the Knicks because there's that you don't have that big who can either move the defense out from the paint or move his man out from the paint, or you don't have that big who could go to work on a post, and maybe you could have the guard cutting in, they could just hit them off, So to some degree, that to me, I've been saying this for the longest, the Knicks do need that. I really think the Knicks need a five that versatile five, who has that versatile game offensively, who can play down in the post, who can play behind the arc, who can shoot the three, who can knock down solid free throws. And I think Mitch and iHeart have done a great job so far this season with knocking down the shots, right? But I think that the Knicks do miss that offensively in their game. They are missing a post player. I agree with that. CM said true Knicks should utilize iHeart pass skills more. Yeah. And this is what we were just alluding to. If the Knicks are smart, they'll utilize that more. But I think part of it too is like the Knicks have these moments sometimes where they'll be playing the Knicks style of basketball, but they have these ever so moments throughout the game for maybe 2, 3, maybe 5 minutes at a time here and there throughout a game where it becomes stagnant, the offense. This is even sometimes when Jalen Brunson is in, and this is why he has to resort to going to the basket, getting us a point, doing what he needs to do to get points on the board. But I think that if the Knicks utilize Isaiah Hartenstein's passes more, it'll make getting points on the board a lot easier, one. And two, it'll make the game offensively a lot smoother. And I think that's something that the Knicks do need to utilize more. I agree 100% with that. I don't think the Knicks do it enough. And, Isaiah Hartenstein is a great passer. But the problem is also that when it becomes stagnant, if you really watch, no one's cutting. Everyone's standing beyond the arc. Why? It takes 4 people to stand beyond the arc and watch Isaiah. Because Isaiah Hartenstein's trying not to be so Captain Obvious. He's looking like, so is anyone going to cut? And no one's cutting. But when we do it, it works beautifully. And then we somehow pull back from that. And then we'll go back into it throughout the game. We pull back from it. And I'm like, why are you not utilizing that? If 2 of you are cutting at the same time, he has an option now. And then if he can't even get it to the cutters, he can kick it back out. So I agree. I think that the Knicks need to, for sure, they need to utilize Isaiah Hartenstein's. Paris Jugger said Brunson gonna drop 70 in game 3. Villanova. Listen, it's not, I wouldn't put it past him. If he can give you 60, he damn sure can give you 70. He's going to do everything in his power to make sure that this Knicks team moves past it and do what he needs to do to make sure the Knicks win this first round series. But I think that's the mentality of everyone else in this game. And you know what? I agree with you. I think that having the Villanova boys can be a blessing for this team because they've won a championship, and I think that just that energy with them playing together, like, I think it'll work. I think it'll work to the Knicks' advantage. Coach Sarr says, Shake. Listen, I've been calling for Tibbs to play Shake for the longest now. Exactly. And I think it's so rude that Tibbs was only giving him like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And then the fact that I think it was the Brooklyn game. Did Burks play in Brooklyn? I think that was the game he played in Brooklyn. He was throwing a freaking ball over everywhere, which way, stinking it up as he always does. And I remember thinking to myself, instead of playing Burks, you could have played Shake. That's where I wish Tibbs would have really utilized him those last 10 games, even if it was for 5 minutes. Because I always go back to McBride. You was giving McBride a little burn. Remember when McBride sometimes was only getting 3-4 minutes in a game, but you was trusting him enough to put him in. And I don't understand. Shake has the ability and the skill set that's a lot better than Alex stinking Burks. but yet you putting him in the game is beyond me. I don't
Yeah.
understand it. I don't understand Tibbs' logic behind that sometimes. He was putting him in, and I remember I asked you, I said, is it because he used to play on the Knicks, or is it because the veteran status and because he's been in the league longer? I don't care. He's stinking up the gym. It stinks. Like the things he was doing, I said, he's playing like he should go to the G League. And I think that's because Alex Burks is more comfortable playing on teams that are not good because he's the star on a bad team. He's the better player on a bad team. This New York's team is not the same team that Alex Burke was playing on. This is a completely different team. And I think when he got here, he said, "Oh wow, these guys are quicker, they're faster, they got the superstar point guard. This is not the same team. He just doesn't fit." I'm not even comfortable with him bringing up the ball. I'd rather see Miles McBride bringing up the ball. Every time he gets the ball, I start getting all anxieties everywhere. Um, yeah, I'm exactly Dwayne. He said I don't want Burks in a rotation. I don't think Tibbs is gonna have him in. You think Tibbs is gonna have Burks in a rotation?
Yeah, I don't think so either. Because of the depth that they have. I hope he's deep in the deep in the bench, but I don't think so. But I mean, he's definitely gonna go with Deuce. Definitely see Deuce. Getting the bulk of those minutes.
Agreed.
Behind Brunson. Um, let's hope he do go with Shake.
Yeah. I also think, speaking of minutes, I think that Coach Sarge just kind of he said Shake should have some insight to the offense. I agree. I think he would be a nice backup to some minutes for McBride. You know what I mean? Like if you got to let McBride sit down for a couple of minutes or anything, like I think he would be a good backup and he could give you something off the bench. But what do we know? You know what I mean? Tibbs is gonna do what Tibbs do. Tibbs is about trust, unfortunately. But minutes wise, and we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, I think that some guys are gonna have to play a lot of minutes because Tibbs only goes with that 8, 9 man rotation. And I think some of those guys are gonna be Brunson, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, and probably I think between uh Mitch and iHeart, I think it's gonna depend on who does what in that particular game. Who
Yeah.
is gonna be like, all right, he's getting more than minutes because I'm seeing more of an impact and production from him than I'm
Mhm.
seeing from the other. You know what I mean? So I think that's how it's gonna work with them. And then I think Miles McBride, I think his minutes will probably go up from more than just 17, 18. I think he may get around some games, maybe 25 minutes, which is still good enough. He can still make an impact in that time frame. But even OG, I think, is going to be playing a decent amount of minutes, to be honest, in a game. But listen, I don't think those playing a lot of minutes is going to hinder a player like Josh Hart or Dante DiVincenzo. They have a lot of energy. They don't look like they get very tired. Same thing with Brunson. He still stays very composed. He doesn't look out of breath when he's playing a ton of minutes. So, I'm not worried about that as far as the minutes distribution. I'm more so going to be looking out for Tibbs and his rotations, the substitutions that he's making. Um, I think the kind of defensive plays that he's going after against Philly, like, are we doing man to man? Is he going to try a zone? And if something's working, maybe he may resort back to something else, and you're like, well, why did you go to that if this was working? I think things like that is what I'm looking for as far as coaching wise when it comes to Tibbs. You know what I mean? Like those are the things that I'm gonna be looking for with him. Salute Keith Watkins. He said, greetings from the ATL. We love ATL. He said, first time on channel, nice content. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Keith said, we don't need a dominant center. We just need one with a little go-to shot, move down low, little jump hook or turnaround, something. We don't need them to score 20 plus. I don't think we need them to score 20 plus. But that little what you just put, when that got with a little go-to shot, move down low, little jump hook or turnaround, uh Hartenstein and Mitch don't have that. Hartenstein, I'll give him the floater. That's all he has. And even I think the floater, I was looking for the floater for him to do that with more confidence this season. I think at times he does it with confidence, but there's times where I'm like, I feel like he put that up because the situation that he was in at that time that he had to put it up. But yeah, we don't have a solid center who can do a little go-to shot, move down low, little jump hook or turnaround. We don't have either of the guys who can do that. So I think that's what, we need. Salute John McDonald. He said, good evening. I want Hartenstein to be more aggressive to the rim. We need scoring from the five, make Embiid work and draw some fouls. Absolutely 100% agreed. It's going to take making Embiid work, try to get Embiid in foul trouble, right? And I don't want to see double teaming on Embiid. Because then you're just leaving somebody else open to crack shots from wherever they feel like it.
But there's gonna be times where they're gonna need to, Embiid, he's a big, strong, force down low. Yeah, that leaves other guys open, but again, this is also making him uncomfortable. You can't let him get comfortable down in that paint. So there's gonna be times where they just might have to, and throw different looks at him because they're gonna do it, with Brunson. So you don't want him to again, plant himself down there and just take over, and get him, have him go on this tear, you know. I don't know. I beg to differ, and in the situational also like, where's he at, and
Mhm.
again. So that's I don't know.
But I was going to say that. I think you just said it perfectly. I think it needs to be done on a situational basis. It can't be every time down
Oh
you're
no.
double teaming him. I think that at times just that'll work because then you can possibly and B move slow. That's why Butler was able to get those steals from him because he's dribbling, dribbling, dribbling. He's not seeing around and having that peripheral to be able to see who. And the Knicks do that well. OG and Dante, they see their man see the ball and they can, cross court passes. They can be able to get those steals. Josh Hart can just steal the ball. So I think in situational times, on a situational basis, yes, the double team will work against Embiid. I agree with that. But I do think, yes, Isaiah Hartenstein needs to be more aggressive. And I said this on the last episode. Hartenstein needs to turn towards the basket. He has this thing where he catches the ball at the corner of the foul line, right? Like right at the corner of it. And then he catches the ball, he's protecting it, but his back is to the basket. And if a lot of times I'm like, if he just turns around, use your pivot foot and
Just
turn
yeah.
around, I don't know for the life of me why Isaiah Hartenstein doesn't even just try to shoot those corner free throw shots. He's too busy looking to pass it back to Brunson or whoever's playing the point guard or McBride. And I'm like, dude, just look to score. Um, the reason we don't have no down low presence because Julius Randle is hurt. Yeah, this is true. But I think
Yeah.
this is why the Knicks need to work on having solid backups. Just like for the point guard position. I think the Knicks this offseason need to look to acquiring a solid backup point guard for Jalen Brunson. He can't bring the ball up every freaking time. And it's no knock to Miles McBride. I think he's doing a good job doing that. But we need a solid point guard who could bring up that ball when Jalen Brunson goes to the bench and who could not just bring up the ball, but who could score, who can
Yeah.
get you buckets. I don't want somebody who just knows how to bring up the ball, somebody who could put the ball in the basket and knows how to do that. Bottom line, the only guy who feels pressure is Brunson. He just gonna do the damn thing. Yeah, and I don't even think Brunson feels pressure. I think Brunson wants to redeem himself from last year. Not that because he had a bad playoffs, but in that Miami game, that last play, I think that ate him up. Because even if you looked at the replay, like afterwards, he was mad at himself for making that pass and probably for not even taking a shot. So, exactly. Yeah. Shake is a better defender than Burks. I don't know. I think Burks hiding injury shoulder. He should have been hiding on the bench then.
Well, but he's definitely checked out anyway. He's not gonna be back, so who cares?
He does look checked out. He do. He look like he don't even want to be here. I need McBride on Maxi. Yeah, I think that's a good matchup. I think because McBride has the quickness to stick with him and his defensive presence, he can handle staying with him. He just got to make sure he don't get in foul trouble. But I agree. I think McBride needs to be on Maxi. I think OG may be on Joel Embiid. So if he's on Embiid, that means who is Hartenstein or Mitch gonna be guarding?
Um, say that again and say that again, that last one.
If OG is on Embiid, or maybe he won't be on Embiid, or maybe they will. I don't know. I thought it would have been more like a Mitch or Isaiah Hartenstein on Embiid, and
Well,
then
he might help out with coverage. And a reporter asked him, was he going to be on Max? Of course, he's not going to come out flat out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be on Max." You know, he sort of skirted around, the question, and he said, whoever, the coach, have me and whoever's on the floor, this is who, our guard. I mean, which is you don't show all your hand, you know.
he said Miles on Maxi is critical. Once you take Maxi out the equation, you make Philly offense stagger. Miles will make Maxi life miserable. Yeah, let's hope
Yeah, that's a
so.
good matchup.
It is. I think Miles McBride on Maxi is a great matchup, and I think he can for sure do his job and be up for the task. He said, if Mitch is limping, I want to see Sims. We need to be strong and athletic. Yeah, I agree. He shouldn't be limping, but OG on Harris. Yeah. And Tobias Harris, he be quiet. He be playing real basic. Again, let me not say that he come out on Saturday and all of a sudden doing playing Space Jam style on us, but yeah, OG could definitely handle Tobias Harris for sure. Like I don't see that being a problem. Let me pull up the we in the way. The playoff bracket, East and West. So the West is almost set because they're waiting between the New Orleans and Sacramento, who's going to face off against OKC. Same thing with Boston's waiting to see who's going to win against the Miami and Chicago game. But yeah, the Knicks got the Sixers, and whoever wins between the Knicks, excuse me, once the Knicks beat the Sixers, they'll be facing against what the 3-6 seed, right? And then, yeah, we'll take it from there, which still another beatable team. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup. First game's on Saturday at 6. I think the second game is on Monday, or it's either on, let me see. Yeah, it's on Monday. So the first game's Saturday at 6. The next game is Monday at 7:30.
Yep.
Um, and then yeah. So after this round, it would be the Knicks would face Milwaukee or Indiana, right?
Yeah, who if when the Knicks advance, um, yeah, they're either either the Bucks or the Pacers. I mean, they have the Pacers advancing, but it's
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
any
that's because Giannis is hurt. He's out. And I heard Jimmy Butler's going to be out possibly the next game because yeah, so, anything could happen. Anything could shake up in the playoffs. It's an animal out there.
just
So, yeah, you guys already know we have the Knicks. Um, John said, didn't know you had a podcast until I saw you on Queen's podcast. I support you ladies who know the game. I will get the word out about your show and to all my friends. Appreciate that, John McDonald. Yeah, if you guys don't know, every Monday I'm on the Queen's Court with Queen Stephanie on her show on Mondays under the Nothing But Knicks podcast. If you guys are not subscribed, you should be already. Subscribe to their channel and go support her channel as well as Dope Soul Sports. She comes on either Thursdays or Fridays, depending on when the Knicks play. But every Monday, I am a panel member on there. And then every month, we do a once a month all women's panel under the Queen's Court as well. So you could check us out on there. I will be organizing the next one for May. So look out for that. And then as far as us, you can catch us every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30. Sometimes we may come on at 7, but mainly at 6:30 p.m. And then every Saturday morning, grab your tea, grab your coffee. We talk all things New York Knicks. So definitely catch us this Saturday morning because we will be doing a quick recap before round one first game against Philly. Super exciting. And then yeah, catch us with any other Knicks content creators shows as well. And look out for any guests. We're one big community. We all support each other here. And then we'll possibly be at any live events that may be coming up for any Knicks podcast shows that may be coming up as well. I don't think we're going to make it. We're not going to make it to the Knicks, nothing but Knicks. I think they're doing like the lounge suite tickets for, I believe it's game 2 or 3 against Philly. But nonetheless, we will be around giving you the Knicks content news and going strong throughout this playoffs. And we plan to be here for a long time because the Knicks are getting out of the first round. And this is going to be exciting. And I'll probably even lose my voice. So Diva Locks will have to probably do most of the speaking on one of these shows eventually. So yeah,
Knicks.
JD Beers. He said, Knicks and Rangers, let's go. Yeah, let's go Rangers too.
Right.
The Rangers are in the playoffs, right? I don't know.
Not
I,
sure. I'm keeping it up with it.
yeah, we gotta stop Oubre Jr. We gotta stop Oubre Jr. and Lowry.
And Lowry. Those are guys that are X factors, and they can hurt you if you don't guard them. You know,
Exactly.
Lowry, he's a veteran. He's been in this league long enough. He has a ring. So he knows what it takes. Just to get you to that next round. So he's going to be key. You don't not focus on him, but as at the same time, you can't. Again, he's not a player to sleep on.
100%. And he has playoff experience.
Yeah.
He has a lot of playoff experience. And you know what? I saw at one point in yesterday's game, he got really frustrated with everyone. Also, Philly fans, they were booing him. It was triggering for me because it was given back in the day when the Knicks used to get booed. I said, are they booing? Because Deuce wasn't playing, so they wasn't saying Deuce. So I said, wow. I said, listen, but listen, it's fuel for the fire. It helped them. Nonetheless, good luck to Philly playing in New York because we're harsh. It's going to be loud in the building.
Oh man.
It's going to be electrifying. So yeah, this is going to be a great series. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a tough one. But yeah, I got the Knicks. Do you have any predictions for this series? I didn't even ask you yet.
Oh, definitely 4-2. I'm not ready to bring out the broom just yet because
Yeah, I'm not bringing
he's
out a
not gonna just, they're not laying down, but I do have the Knicks 4-2. We're gonna take those first two. Still one in Philly. They played the next at Philly Thursday and Sunday. So definitely still one there. And you come back to the Garden, you know, they get just knock them out, just finish them.
yeah. Yeah, I think I'll probably have mines at uh,
Just go 4-2, will you? Why you gotta be difficult? Are you
all right, I'm gonna go 4-2. Again, this
are
is
you
not me having
are
any
you gonna go for
hesitation
4-1? Huh?
or reservations. Yeah, I was tossing between 4-1, 4-2,
4-1
4-1.
is even better.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I have my Knicks for sure getting out of this round. I'm
Oh, for sure.
1,000% confident in that. Like truly believe in these guys being able to get past the first round. Salute to Cuzzo,
What
Tarsha.
up, Tosh? All the way from South Carolina.
Yeah, showing us love. I love it. I love it. Jay-Z Beers said, just sub, great content. Appreciate that. Those of you who are new to the channel, thank you for watching us. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Turn on your post notification button as well so you can see when we're coming on. We're pretty good at putting up a notification so you guys know when we're coming on in advance. And then hit the like button on your way in, way out. Those of you who are watching the replay game, hit that like button. It's free. It's like right at the bottom, and yeah, just hit it. It helps the algorithm on YouTube get us out to others who are looking for Knicks content creators, and we give it very raw, very real. Um, this is not BSPN as Ron likes to call it, and
Mm. Let me shout out the way he's in VA, Virginia. Hey, welcome.
yeah, shout out to Dwayne. He's also a newbie here. John said Knicks in 5, and Embiid is hobbled and his knee won't hold up. Yeah, it's very much, and you know why I think it's too. I'm not even just going by the fact that we beat them 3-1 during the regular series and in a regular season. The Knicks are just. I think the Knicks are too physical. We're too. We have too much firepower and too many different options compared to Philly, So I think that'll be a problem for them. And if the Knicks pack on that high intensity and that speed, like I said, we're going to be a problem for them for sure. So
I just want Philly to play a clean game, and
agreed on that too. Don't be
see what
hurting
happens
anybody.
with Butler. So
hmm If we lose one game to a hobbled Embiid, should be embarrassed. I mean, it's going to happen. I don't expect this to be a full sweep. But hey, if the Knicks do it, even better, you know.
yeah,
Proud that y'all are doing this. Y'all both have always been very knowledgeable about basketball, for sure. And we are true Knicks fans. You already know that. Salute to
okay.
you, Tasha, for chiming in and joining us. We appreciate it. We really do. Sharice Duncan, salute, joining in, said Knicks sweeping the Sixers. I love the confidence. I really do. But we're not ready to bring out any brooms just yet. But let me tell you something. New York is going to be crazy. Remember last year? The city was crazy. Knicks fans were going berserk. You would have thought we won the championship.
And like somebody said, just the crowd, fuels, the guys, the players. So when you got
Right.
a crowd like that behind you at the most world's famous arena, you have no other chance but to, move advance on. Oh,
He said, John said, I hope the refs don't have on their sunglasses and give Brunson his calls. I agree. I just feel like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes the refs, You ever find yourself watching the next game and you're like, where's the foul? You're yelling at the TV, where's the foul? I
Oh
hope
yeah.
I'm not having to do that a lot. And I hope these refs, their whistles are working. I hope they're not doing these late calls where we're having to feel like we got to have Tibbs do a challenge. Like, call the right calls. You know what I mean? And I agree with you with what you said just a few minutes ago. I hope that Philly also don't play dirty and try to do like Miami and hurt somebody. You know, good health is going to be needed for us throughout this season. But I agree. I really hope that the refs, you know, they utilize their whistle accordingly and when needed, you know, and if guys like Brunson or even Josh Hart are driving to the basket, because Josh Hart, he be having some validity to some of his complaints. Like, he do be getting elbowed across the head. He be like, yo, where's the foul? But, you know, he does it so quick, he's able to make in those baskets. I guess the refs are like, there's no foul. But yeah. So, oh yes, I know that. Knicks all day. Exactly. Let's
That's
go
right.
Knicks. If the Knicks win it all, New York City will come down. Yeah. We will be at the parade. This
I'll
is
be
a long time coming.
I camp out overnight.
Right. Right.
Shoot.
Exactly. Exactly. But again, salute to everybody for joining us this evening. Look out for us. We'll be back on Saturday morning at 10:30. And salute to all the other content creators. There should be some other really good shows coming on tonight. And yeah, we'll be back on Saturday in the morning. Join us. Get your tea, get your orange juice, hot chocolate, your coffee, whatever you drink in the morning. Cup of water with some lemon is better. And join us Saturday. We'll see you all. Have a great evening. And as we always say, let's go Knicks. Knicks got this first round series, and I'm looking forward to that first round win against Philadelphia. But until next time, everybody,